Peter Oliver began his skiing in 1960 at Loremos, Austria, when his father was posted in nearby Munich, Germany. After the family returned stateside, they often traveled to Vermont, skiing at Dutch Hill, Bromley, Stratton, Stowe, or in the Mad River Valley.
After I graduated from college, I thought, like the dream scenario would be to live in an idyllic environment like Vermont and work as a journalist or writer. And it was quite clear to me that that was not going to work out. So I migrated to New York.
After 5 years writing and editing for Scholastic, Peter became a freelance writer, stringing for Ski Business, and shortly thereafter, Skiing Magazine.
Suddenly I was traveling all over the world and skiing in 5 continents. I think I've skied in at this point, meeting and skiing with some of the great skiers and people connected with skiing, and getting paid to do it. So I wrote about travel, did personality profiles, I did a lot of competition coverage, I did a lot of equipment coverage, so I was kind of wearing a lot of hats. My first book was The Insider's Guide to the Best Skiing in New England. Probably my best known book is Stowe. Stowe had a lot of great history and great culture going for it, so it was a great book to do.
In 1995, Peter dusted off that dream scenario and moved out of Manhattan and up to Vermont. His freelance market had broadened to include Outside, Men's Journal, and Powder magazines.
When I was working for Skiing Magazine and doing a lot of work for those guys, I would probably ski 80 to 100 days or more a year alpine, and maybe get in 20 or 25 days of Nordic skiing.
Peter was approached by the Vermont Skiers Association, and after a couple of years of courtship, agreed to become the editor of their magazine, Ski Vermont. Shortly after they took that magazine in-house, Peter became the editor of the Canadian magazine, Ski Press, and its sister publication, Cycle Press.
I lived here in Vermont. The publisher lived in Tremblant. The designer lived north of Montreal, and the actual headquarters of the publication were in Montreal itself. Most of the work was done online, no problem at all. The economics of print publishing were really changing. The publications were less willing to devote money to outside writers like me. It's kind of a scary proposition for up-and-coming Peter Olivers who are in their early 20s now and interested in getting into a writing career. How can you complain about traveling all over the world and skiing with great skiers like, I remember spending the week skiing in a private helicopter with Doug Coombs and Scott Schmidt, and these are sort of dream things that I could hardly imagine. So it's, sometimes you luck into some really wonderful things in your life, and that's kind of what happened to me.